We had a webinar last night, and welcome to everybody who came from the webinar, because today you saw we are who we say we are. All right. And for those who did not, oh, ye of little faith. All right. So, as you can tell, I don't do a lot of chest bumping. What we do is I do my job, and I do it very well. And, we don't sit there and say, oh, we made all this money. What we do is follow the rules, right? Period. And still new people having some things here. Yeah. So I'm trying to get everybody involved. But a very good day. Camera icon. Sorry about that. We got a lot of new people, and that's good. A lot of people did listen. And it looks like after today, they're glad they did. Because you go in other chat rooms, and these guys are sitting there, boy, I hope it really gets killed down to the 200 days so I could buy it. When you have a gift like nice, Brian, when you have a gift like this, we opened unchanged or down a little, and here's one of the first things I want you to do. And I know a lot of new people, you're going to get all the videos and all that stuff to hit over the weekend, and it seems like a lot of information, but it's actually very simple. But what I want you to do, and this is very important, is I want you to watch the nightly video after the close. What did we talk about last night? We had some difficulty with it last night. I put it in here. I put it on my YouTube and stuff like that. And so unfortunately, a lot of people missed it. But I put it in there. I just put it in there tonight so you could see it again. You want to watch the video from the night before, after the close, because that's going to help you look at what we were looking at, talking about, and then what happened. Because we were all over this. We were all over this. The shooter here. Take them out, the 222, and take this out. And our objective was this, and we took it out in one day. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Dow Jones Diamonds, same thing. Didn't take it out, but we'll take this. we'll take this move here off the shooter, and almost everything was to the downside from the video. So you want to do that because that helps you. As you could tell if you were here for the first day, that I want you to see things only this way. And I knew I ruffled some feathers in the webinar last night with some guys, I make money doing what, and I said, throw it all out, right? So I was very clear about that. Throw it all out, right? You only want to see things this way because it's the truth, right? And you will be much happier throwing everything out when you only see things in terms of time frame continuity, actionable signals, and a 1, 2, 3 scenario, period. Because that's the way things trade. That's it. That's all you need. So be sure to do that. Also, one of the first questions will be two that I know that, oh, hold on. Make sure. Having some technical difficulties with some people. Okay, sorry, I got some technical. A lot of new people trying to figure out the technology of how to get on here. So, but if you're brand new to this, and especially if it's only been one day, like last night, that you're going to hear a lot of information from me during the day, right? And if you try and follow it all, you're going to go nuts. All right. And so what you want to do is, I typed in my email earlier, I want to know who you are and where you're coming from and what's going on, because that helps me a lot. Do you have $50 million? Are you trying to make, are you trying to trade off a $5,000 account with a lot of leverage? Or, what are you trying to do? Because that helps me put you where you need to be. Right, a lot, right? Knowing your story helps me, because when I said last night that I customize this for a lot of people, warning YouTube drop frames, streams going, okay, blah, blah, blah. Looks like the tech stuff is on us. So, but you want to do that because what you're going to have on the weekend video, I break down, if you've never watched that, I break down the broader averages to the sectors, to the subsectors, to the stocks that we want to be watching coming up to the next week, all right? And once a month, I'll make the macro video where we're looking at the yearly charts and the quarterly charts, and those are levels we want to know about too. One piece of advice on that is that you want to be able to see what we're going as far as if there's specific sectors we're involved in, right? So when I say per the video during the week, that you have your notes from that specific sector. Some people will like to write down the time in the video where I talk about that sector if they need to go back to it during the week, so they don't have to watch the whole thing again. But that's important too in the spreadsheet and all that kind of thing, because if you can just focus on one or two things or 5 or 10 things first, you're going to see how much opportunity there is every single day, right? And so some people will just stick on the gap list, and that's it. And that's fine. Don't get caught up in the excitement. I get very excited because I'm seeing it all play out, and I love this. I'm just laughing all day watching all these things play out. But I'm speaking to a lot of people that are doing a lot of different things. And so that's why you'll hear me call out specific stuff, as well as it might not be anything to really do. I might say something's inside on the 60, but it might be in conflict. It might be a bunch of things. A lot of the things that I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out. Also, I'm talking through the market myself. I'm trying to figure it all out. And oftentimes you'll hear me when I go, here, here, here. I'm like, that's inside, here, right? You'll pick up on stuff like that. So, all right, another thing I want to talk about too is how we use time frame continuity, right? And it's not only, and if you're brand new, time frame continuity means that if we have, like in the diamonds here, it's red on the month, right? It's red on the week. It's red on the day. And it's red on the 60. Right? Anytime this thing is red, that's full time from continuity to the downside. And you'll see it down here. 2, 2, 2, 2 gone. Right? But we don't use it just for those exact levels. The way that we also use this, and this is a very important concept because this is how it keeps you from getting chopped up, is as the day goes on, the week goes on, the monthly goes on, right? We want to know how much continuity we have. And so what I mean by that is obviously during the day, down in here, this thing ain't going green on the day. No way. No way. And so anytime that thing stays 60, we want to be on that. Now, had some of our big boys that are really doing nothing. Like Amazon today finally got hit a bit, right? But for the week, it was doji until today, right? And for the month, it's nowhere near the blood red, and it's nowhere near taking out last month's lows, right? So today, yeah, it caught up with the 1,000-point dumper, but before that, it really wasn't doing much, right? And so as we get into, say, 11 o'clock, noontime hour, wherever you live, middle of the day trading, we want to make sure we're trading something that's not an inside day and not a doji doing nothing, right? So when we come into Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday, we want to look at those weekly charts and make sure they're blood red or blood green or bright green, right? Because that tells us something's that's moving. So when you come into the second week, end of the second week or anything, we want to make sure something's not still inside on the month, right? It's doing nothing, right? Depending on how big the range is. I know Tesla's still inside month and it moves around. But in general, that's something you don't want to know about. So I hope everybody did get the videos who's brand new and stuff like that. Don't be please email me when you get a chance. Don't be afraid to ask questions during the day. Even if I sound like I'm really busy, I'm always there to point things out, even though I have to go around the horn and do what I'm doing. And certainly take advantage of this right here, right? Okay, so we got a few questions right out the chute. Yes. Do you need a perfect inside bar? What if it's one or two ticks outside either end? No, then it's not inside. And so the reason that's important is because the difference between scenario 1 and scenario 3 potential, right? If it ticks outside and comes back, that's a potential scenario 3, right? That's a triangle. That's a potential triangle, all right? And so for the people that are brand new, everything trades in a series of price discovery broadening formations. There is nothing else, right? And that's why you can see this even on the way up. You can see them. Ready? Yay, 2, 2, 2, 2 reversal, 2, 2. And so what they'll do, you hear me say triangle them out all the time. Triangle out the shorts, triangle out the longs, and then free to go again. See? Take all these guys out. Stop them, stop them, stop them, and then back up. And you'll see this constant series. Oh, it's because when things go into the highs, everybody's like, "Oh, it looks great. I'll buy it on a pullback." Will ya? Pulled one. I'm going to stop myself here. Oh no, I got stopped out. Inside, back up, triangle them out, then go back up into the highs, and you'll see this series over and over and over again, right? But the difference between a few pennies is the difference between inside one or a potential three, right? Make sense? That's a triangle, even 1 penny. Now the problem with that is even when it goes to the other side, is that the magnitude's only going to be a couple pennies on the other side taking it out, right? And we'll get to that when I keep showing it to you. Like I mean, when we saw stuff like course purses, and this is what I mean by like triangle them out during the day. Now it's a 3-monther, but on the 15, you'll remember I drew this during the day, all right? Said here we go. They're going to come up, stop them out. Probably even stop these guys out here. Oops, them. But then it goes shooter. So all the guys who are short against this, gone, this, gone. Now, if you get long, the guys who are stopped long are here, 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 here. Ready? Take them out. Make sense? That's the difference between triangle and inside bar. And let me see. But I want to make sure that's clear. So on the rev strat, do you hit it when it comes back into the wick of the previous candle of the bar? You with me? Make sense? I just want to make sure to clarify. Never sit there and smile and nod. All right, cool. If somebody doesn't get something, tell me. So ESPR is a rev strat for tomorrow. Daily. Yeah. So here, inside day, right? Goes 2, comes back, shooter, counters the inside. You hit it as soon as it takes that out. And the reason you do that, these should just go. Rev strat should just go. There should be no fudging around. Why? Because you just stopped a bunch of guys out on the short side. These guys are gone. These guys are gone. And anybody who's trying to stay long is going to be long against that, that, and that. Right? So when you hit that, you're trying to use these stops to trigger these guys. It's like pushing somebody off a balcony where there's a bunch of balconies with more people the whole way down. We're using the other participants to go, right? And now we're doing the best we can here. So I know it's a first night for a lot of people, and we're coming on a lot of different wavelengths. So yes, as soon as that rev strat triggers, right there. Yes, because we're throwing the first punch. We're always throwing the first punch. Whether guys are going to sit on support or whether we get mauled, we're not doing that. Good. Yeah, we're going to throw the first punch. Because we know if he doesn't go down, we just get out and run away. But if he does, he's going to take a couple boys with him. All right? Okay, let's see. Do I care how big the inside bar is? It depends because yes. I mean, obviously it depends because that could also give us more of a measured move type of deal, right? But because we're looking at multiple time frames, inside's still inside, right? Here on the weekly is still red. Monthly, red. And if you can get it to break hard enough, it goes back into 2-2 here, below 64.46. So we'd go daily rev strat, that 60 would be down. We potentially can take out, this was here. Take all this stuff out. And so, Steve, the good thing is last night, if everybody gets the course, time frame continuity is also about who's in control, right? The 60 is always in control, right? It's a matter of how much power it has, right? So the monthly and the weekly are the big boys, that we know, right? But the daily and the 60 are what's happening right now. If you're going to change the weekly and the monthly, it would have to go on the daily and the 60 first, right? So we pay attention to that. Because on a counter day, the 60 and the day can counter the weekly and the monthly, so long as that day stays green and that 60 stays green. But anytime that 60 kicks back red, we want to know about that. That's why the flip is very important. The bottom of the hour is very important. I'm just going to try to make sure I'm not missing any questions. If I do, please ask again. Scans for the new combos, they're coming. We're working on it. Just stay with me. Make sense, Steve? Because one of the things we want to do, like today, when we know that SPY's full throttle downside, that's why I kept watching the flip. 60. Are they here? Are they here? Are they here? Counter short cover. Ready? They're back. And then in the close, oh yeah, they're here. And in force. And everybody's puking. All right. Hi, Justine. The flip is the bottom of the hour. And what that means is and we want to have your 60-minute charts updating on the bottom of the hour, right? But we're still going to be aware of the top of the hour because that's a new 30. But because of the way that automated trading goes and liquidity events like the European close and stuff like that's on the bottom of the hour, we prefer the bottom of the hour. But what that does is help us gauge whether what we all know to be true is still in force. Right, it's still with us. Do we have full time frame continuity? We do as this 60 goes red. Takes up a little bit and then comes through blood red. All right. So the flip it confirms and negates. Good, Steve. So here's another thing that's very important for new people to know too. Everything's going to confirm or negate what we know. Right? And that's why we're always watching things. And what I mean by that is that if you've ever heard turnaround Tuesday, right? What that means is Monday's movement is going to be confirmed or negated on Tuesday, right? And so a Tuesday turnaround Tuesday is a negation of that. And that happens all day long. Each hour is going to confirm or negate the last one. It also happens on the weekly when we start off the month, right? The first week is either going to be confirmed or negated in the second week. And then the second is going to be confirmed or negated in the third, and so on. And I'm sorry, Andre, you had a question on which one? A question on which one did we get in? Was I think might have been the cores, purses. Here you go. Triangle day out. 60 down. Whack. To 15 shoot. You're in. Never makes a higher high. Actually, we didn't. And that's a good thing I wanted to point out. There's your 15 down, then you can hit it 60 again. Boom. Add cover on the close. We did not have a turnaround Tuesday. Oh, where did we go? As soon as they break these inside bars. As soon as they break them. Or any actionable signal. So let's say on the 15 here, there's a shooting star. You hit it as soon as it breaks that. 61.66, you hit them at 61.65. And you don't have to wait for it to tick 65. If it shows its face at 65, whack it. Right? Because we are causing things to happen. Right? And the reason we weren't a turnaround Tuesday this week, I'll show you. It was up, but you didn't take out the previous day's highs. You didn't take out Monday's highs. You came back and said howdy Monday, but you didn't take it out. All you did was come back in, no turnaround. Turnaround would have been taking this out. You go kicking pattern up into there, that's turnaround Tuesday. This was not a turnaround Tuesday. Yeah. Hello, Puka. Yeah, you saw bright green. I'm like, nope. Because here's how the scenarios help you. Was that a turnaround Tuesday? No, it's a Tuesday within the trend making a lower low and no higher high. Right? Now, yesterday, if they were going to go 3 off of this guy, and what I mean by that, 3 is an outside bar, but if you run out of time, you can look for the 2, 2, 2 here, but this better take that out, right? Which it did not, which makes it the lower low. The 2, 2, 2 reversal, crush it, right? Nice try, short cover Tuesday. Talk about how you would handle the trade management on short on the 3 scenario. If it comes back into the range, take it off immediately. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You can't because a 3-3 is how you're really going to get killed. The 3-3 will murder you. A la Disca, I believe. A good one, right? Disca. Where was her 3-3? It's not a daily. I'm trying to think of where that was. Well, Disca did this anyway. Where was that 3? I'm sorry, I'm looking at Corvo. Hold on. Sorry, I thought hold on. Disca Daily. Disca Daily here. The 3-3. Crushed. So if this goes 3-3-3 and comes back here, you can get murdered. Right? But if it goes here, 3, and you go the 3-2 down and it comes back in here, see ya. Then it goes 3-2 to the upside and you really get destroyed. Ramesh, could you refresh maybe? I know we got a lot of new people. I'm trying to make sure you get it all in. But Houston and everybody new too, what I'm trying to show you is we are designed to not get killed. Right? When I first came to T3, I said, I'm going to show you how to not get killed. Most people don't know how to do that. Right? I'm like, do not get killed. Right? Don't break the rules. We don't take any heat. We play with their money. And so, also, Andre, so and that cores would just take it off at the end of the day. Right? And so we're going to exit depending on how much information we have that something's going to keep going. And it's also going to be when I get to know you, because some people will have another job or they want to go do something else. So you'll see Brian, who's very good at the gaps, and you'll see him get in there and he'll say, my stops are set, I'll see you later. Right? He just lets the market do what it's going to do. So he doesn't get, doesn't go nuts during the day. Just says he knows that if something continues and wipes out, he's going to make a ton. His stops are in, so he already knows what he's going to make. Right? It's a matter of we make a little or a lot and lose very little. That's the whole idea. Some shortcuts on hotkeys? Yeah, it all depends on who you're trading through and stuff like that. So, yeah, totally. So, how do I draw the triangle? So, the triangle drawing, one of the great things about the scenarios is that although triangles will not always be outside bars on longer term time frames, they tell us that they exist, right? And so basically what I'm going to be doing, all I'm going to be doing is when I go backwards here, all I'm going to go is the last one here that was higher than this. So I can't go off here because that's higher. What this does tell me is it's a higher triangle series. When I go like this, when people think they see trend lines, they don't. They're seeing higher triangle series, right? Here's this triangle because it's a 3. So 3 goes back to here, these guys like this. And one of the things about this, I know this drives a lot of people nuts, but one of the things that will help you is copying the ones I put in the video and asking during the day, drawing your own and then asking me. But any series of higher highs and lower lows basically would be the reason. If that makes sense. Any series. And that's why we want to go back. So sometimes things will look ridiculous. Like if I go here, like this, let me get rid of all this stuff. So if I go here, so here the last series of highs is there, right? And then the lowest low is this. And I go back to that. Here's the triangle. Lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. And now we're back in here to see if what's this? 3, 2, 1 to see if this can use this as a continuation down into here if they want to hit it. Don't be surprised if it goes right there tomorrow. Take it from my people. But also it's important to understand that anytime you break this and close a new bar, you redraw. So just because this is up here doesn't mean it's going that high. Anytime you break this and close, you draw the new bar off of that, the new triangle off of that. But because of the scenarios, you don't have to drive yourself nuts drawing the triangles. That's a good thing. Cool, cool. Yeah, the GBTC I don't have on this software, unfortunately. I can get it on Lightspeed, but it's a little shaky. I'd have to look at all that. So what you're going to want to do is understand the scenarios and then just look at it. Break this and redraw. Anytime that you make a higher high or lower low, and that bar closes out, you redraw. Because you made the higher high. I use NeoVest, www.neovest.com. Yeah, yeah. Just you want to shake everything out of your head and only see things in these terms. And Robin, I'm going to get to the scenarios 1 second here, and make sure if I forget a question or I don't see it, we're coming in pretty quick here, but certainly re-ask. So not only is it important to see the scenarios, but when you watch the video, The Greatest Story, we're going to use that in conjunction with what we already know. So in this case, right, anytime you go inside is a 1, right? Any inside bar is a 1. This is a 1 over here. Scenario 1, couldn't take out either side. So after scenario 1, has to go 2. Can't not, eventually, right? Can't not. So here, when it breaks, is 2. When you break one side of the previous range, goes 2. That's 2, right? Then 2. And so just like I was saying that with Turnaround Tuesday, it was still 2, right? This is still a 2. It was potential 3, didn't make it, but it was still 2 because it took out one side of the range. Then, because we see triangles and it comes back into here, when it took out this, it had the potential to 2-2 to take that out, which is a tall order. Couldn't do it, but that was a possibility so long as the daily and the 60 were green. But when they failed, now we go 2 back the other way. And now we got the lower high puke. 2 by taking out one side, 2 by taking out one side, 2 by taking out one side. And that's how we can determine the reversals, because the reversals are going to be one of 3 things. Here, per that video, if you go that monthly, reversal either looks like this, 2, 1, 2, where it's green inside red. That's a reversal, right? Or as we have in SPY, the 2-2, 2 in one direction, and the next 2 breaks the other side. That's a 2-2 reversal, right? Or the outside bar reversal, 3. That's the only way things can possibly reverse. That's it, right? And so once we know that, here we know we have a fractal triangle because this is a 3 and we're getting back into it. It goes 3, 2, 1. And so tomorrow, if this thing starts getting hit, we go 1, 2, and we know we have a triangle here because this is an outside bar that went to a higher high. So our triangle magnitude is going to be down into here or worse. And in the course, I want to get too involved tonight on first-time people, but what you're going to notice if you go back in time, right, since outside bars are fractal broadening formations, if we get into this one, which we have, and we start breaking this, we get back into this one. This is another triangle here, 2312, and you're already back into that one. So you can take care of business on this try and take care of business on this one, right? Well, 3-1's not reversing anything because the 3 took out both sides. So 3 took out both sides, so then it'd be new trend. Yeah. And can I draw a Baba? Sure. Baba. So Baba, what do you know about Baba? Monthly, going 2-2 reversal here, right? So here was the tighter try, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. Now you're going 2-2 to try and come back after these guys, right? But so long as you're below that, you're 2-2 month, below 175.70. The weekly, the 2 puker, take these guys out, take these guys out. Now you're going to come after this stuff, right? The old oneer guys. 1, 2, 3 there. And so you'll see the Baba does this. Dinky do. There's your Baba try. Chopping them up. Here, one of the things you'll hear me say is triangle's too tight. You're gonna get murdered in there. It's like trading it a one, right? I want to link these things here real quick. It's like trading in a one. When the triangle's too tight, you're gonna get slaughtered in there. And so, for newer folks, if you try to trade something and you got chopped up so bad that you're never going to touch it again and then it really moves, everybody's done that. That's why. Triangle is too tight. So a lot of these guys who are getting chopped up and murdered in here, who finally thought they're getting the Baba breakout here, they got carried out in here. These guys would never touch Baba again. Boom. And then it goes. And they take them out here. But then here comes the real move. Do I have to cover my Baba? No, it's a new highs. It looks great. Does it? You can take them all back out. You're going to see how these triangles mess with you. All right, so if you go down to the daily, you'll see this. Here's the big Baba daily triangles. So it comes up here, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. Then this is a sub triangle here that gets wiped out, takes all these guys out, right? And messes it all, chops them up. Can't quite make it, so they think it's going to fail. Outside, 3, 2, 2, takes them up. Okay, we're clean sailing, but then back into the triangle now. You take all these guys out, you come fill that gap, and now we can maybe talk to some of these guys. All right. Okay, let me see. And Thompson with live feeds for futures and options. Should I have the SPY queue up or be watching futures to watch? No, you can watch the futures. That's fine. That's the real McCoy. So one of the good things that we can do is when you have multiple vehicles tracking the same thing is, and I've said this before, is that you can use the signal in the futures to go after the SPY even if the SPY's not inside. Or I prefer you to go after the futures or vice versa, because if you have a futures account, you'd rather do that. Taxes are cheaper on futures, right? Or trade the options. But like we've talked about this before, like Labu and IBB. They're not exact, but if you get a signal in IBB, you can go after the Labu because this thing's going to move a heck of a lot more. And this is nice. Ah, yes. The 2, turnaround Tuesday? No. 2, 2, puke. This thing puked 90, 90, comes 79, 50 in one day. We'll take that. But you can use the different vehicles against each other and trade them and go after the more volatile one. Because oftentimes the ones that are more volatile might not stay inside even though the other ones do. That still tells us there's still an equilibrium there. Just a little bit noisier. And it'll still line up with the scenarios because it has to. And Robin, is that a little bit clear on the scenarios? I want to make sure that you're catching on here. Because Robin's been with me a long time, and all this does is clean up. Good. All this does is clean up what we already knew to be true. And what it helps us to do is get in more. Like before, we would watch this. Let's say that this is not a shooting star, it's just a thing, right? We wouldn't take it just because it took that. Now we can because we know the scenarios. What we would do is we would go after shorter-term actionable signals with full time frame counting to the downside. We don't have to do that anymore. That's how much more efficient we are. We can get anything. There's nothing we can't get. And so I don't know if Mark's here, but another thing that's important to know is like he was watching he was trading SDS, which is nice. And for a while it was grinding along, like grind. And so what you'll get used to, and this is really important because if you've ever had this happen to you, and this will happen to people even that know what we know, that how come these inside and actionable signals keep failing, yet the price goes higher? And so what that means is that the triangles are way too tight, but they're going in the right direction. And so what I mean by that is you're going to see this. If you keep buying into the highs, it's going to keep stopping you out. It's going to keep coming back in, even though it's still going higher. Like in here, what that means, you got to go down to the real shorter time frames because you'll still see this. You'll still see the same thing. What's great is that because price is uniform, which means it has to trade in the three scenarios, you can break it down and it's like you're looking at the same thing. You're just looking at the guts of it. And so here, if you keep buying it into the highs, it keeps dropping on you. Oh, now it's real. No. Oh, now it's real. No. And yet it still goes higher, right? You got to come off the bottom of even shorter term triangles. So you can go here. This is a 1 minute, and then come off of here, right? Because just like I said, the reason these things work is because the guys on the short side have to be short against something here, 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 and so you want to triangle the guys who are trying to be long, staying long in, and then once it turns back up, then you can go for it, right? Look, they got them good here too. Triangle they out, and then even here it goes down 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, right? I love the trade up right after the triangle layout because what Brian knows and what we know is that they're going to do that. The price is going to do that. It's going to take people out. Otherwise, the trade will be very simple. Straight up all day or straight down all day. That's not how it works. And that's why when I was asked last night about support and resistance, I'm like, I was like, you ever notice when the guys draw the lines on support and resistance, sometimes they'll thicken the lines so it looks like it's the same, but it's not. Because when you actually traded it, it spiked down and then came back up and took you out. Yeah. Love those guys. Just thicken up the line a little bit. Yeah. It's a general area. How general is it? Well, it's just a little bit further than your stop's going to be. Gee, thanks. Let me see. My older tries. Let me see. I'm going to make sure I don't get too lost here. Yeah. Your older try often show return through an old try sometime later, correct? Yeah. Or come back to an older try line, then carry on the same. Yeah. Once you start seeing this stuff, you're going to see how uncanny it really is. All right. But for you, it's going to be much easier always to just think in the terms that I'm talking about, right? I mean, drawing the triangle master is not as important as understanding what's going on and where and why. Because this triangle, look at this for new people. Look at this. I drew this last year on the daily, right to it, and then bam, right? But you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about that. It's fun. It's fun when you see my tries come right to them. But for trading, it's more important to understand the condition of the price. Let me worry about that stuff. Because it'll be in the videos and stuff like that, and I'll see it. So you just hit the buttons when it's button hitting time. All right. Okay. Do that with a grand. FUYE, sure. FUYE, a little tough to see because it's been doing nothing for so ever, right? This is how you miss something. It's like when you go. So obviously it's been doing nothing. It's hard to see this stuff. So we'll bring it down. So what do we have last month? For newer folks, this is important to understand too, right? And Robin, this has to do with the scenarios too. So this went 1 inside, right? And last month it went inside up, right? But it couldn't take out the mother bar, right? So this is a very important part of the scenarios, right? Very important part is that once you have a 1, right? The next 2, if it doesn't go out of the mother bar, these 2 bars revert into a 1. It's still a consolidation. It's in the course that when you see these multiple bar patterns, you're going to get murdered in here, right? You're going to get murdered, right? Because it can't get out, right? So doesn't mean you can't take that 2-2 down here. It just has to stay down. Because you're looking to take this and get out of that mother bar. If it doesn't, you got to jump ship. Because if this thing stays in here for this month, then you revert to the 3 bar, right? But this is very important. Just like you're going to get chopped up in a 1, this is telling you in a longer term time frame, you're still going to get chopped up, right? So you want to know about that. because I hope I struck a few nerves last night about when you're getting chopped up, and hopefully a lot of people went back to their charts and be like, oh man, that's still inside. I'm like, yep, choppity shoppy. Nobody's in charge. And as you can see, especially with volatility like today, when you have full time frame continuity and an actionable signal that's not inside, that's the condition some stuff's going to be in when it's really moving. Okay. Do you wait to trade until it gets off the monthly bar? Well, I mean, we can trade with full time frame continuity, right? In this case, FEYE, we probably don't want to be involved. I mean, look at this. This thing's not worth more than the moves that we're catching in other things. This thing's only worth $14, right? Right. Right. So much going on, and not sure to go where first, Robinson. That's why, you can go off the video. You can stick with the gaps. You can hold off until the first hour to see if there's anything discernible that we're looking at. Because I know the video got messed up last night, but SMH, we knew we wanted to be part of that. That was inside day and down, which took month 2 too, right? Right. One of the problems is if the usual suspects dry up. You got to know that too. And so, Andre, what you're going to see is there's so many things that are in force that go right in force, right? And that's what we'll do at the beginning of the month, the beginning of the quarter. Here's the guys going in. Here's the guys reversing. Here's the this. Here's the that, right? And so, right, focus on the longer time frame. Train yourself to see it on the shorter time. Exact, because since it's all the same, right? The good thing about the longer time frames, it takes forever to play out. That's great. Right? Then you can do battle because you know to do battle, right? Before, if you were only looking at daily and intraday charts, you get killed because you don't know which ones to go after. Because what will happen too is then guys go get killed in these things that really move, and then the next month they go inside and really chop them up. First, we're going to destroy you, and then we're just going to torture you by taking your money little by little. And then when you throw in the towel, it goes inside and then goes measured move when you could have had all your money back. All right. Bet you've been there before, huh? So, Robin, does that make sense? I'm always work with me, and so new people, I'm very adamant about this. One of the things I really don't like is people disappearing and or their last words are I just didn't get it or I kept getting stopped out. Okay, good. Check with me, all right? I work for you. All right, I work for you, and I can't read your mind. If you say nothing, I expect you're just killing it, right? Because you will see times that are very active, people are not posting because they know what to do, right? Don't get killed. Facebook? What do you know about Facebook? Inside day and down. Piece of cake, right? Okay, piece of cake. Now Facebook goes 3 on the month. You got your try. Did we know about this try? I bet we did. Did inside day call the high? It did. Is it okay to not catch the high? Yeah, because it gapped down. If it's really going to go, will it do it again? When did it do it? Today. Right? So, there you go. We've been watching this baby for a while. And so what will happen, especially for the new folk, is that you get so conditioned to stuff like this where you're just getting destroyed. Just getting destroyed in here, right? Oh, I bought the dip, and then just giving it all back up, getting chopped up in here, right? Oh, this is the real move. And yay. And then the inside day, and like, oh, you thought this was bad? Wait till these guys show up. Triangle gets bigger, right? And that's why we go after the bigger tries when we recognize them. And now the good thing for Facebook is once a 3, always a 3. So now that you're an outside month, if it gets back into here, you can triangle back to the highs. Not looking for that just yet, because so far It's higher level tries than this stuff. Took these guys out, but you still got this stuff. So if we want to get medieval on her, take them out. I'm never touching Facebook again. Okay, then we can go up, but not yet. VXX, yeah. So here's the thing. We don't want to get killed in here, right? Capital preservation when trading these things, as a lot of people have seen, is key, right? Is this something I want to be short? No. No. I mean, I'm short from, much higher distances, and I've reduced that significantly because of this. We know this is coming. What I want to do, just like the flip is the bottom of the hour, we also want a new month. I want this month to go red. When this month goes red, I'm going to be involved. Trust me, right? I will be involved. But we don't have that. We got a lot of month left, right? Weekly. Is that something I want to be short? No. I like the boring drifting death, because as alluring as this is, right? That here you can see it here. Short, no. 3, yes. Once this thing goes red, potential 3, oh yeah, right there. El Puco Mucho, right? Here, not yet. I can get short in here. And then here, oh, how they loved her. 2-2. Now we're involved. Because the sell signals work so excellent in this. You don't have to take the risk. Just get out of the way. Let them do what they're going to do. Right? And then when it's go time, it's go time. And sometimes what it'll do is it'll go up, spike up, and then come back in. And everybody's like, oh, I missed it. You didn't miss it, right? You got out of the way, right? Ideally, what we want is the boring, where it just drops a couple bucks every day. And so the thing about teeing it up like this, which would be nice, if we get up at 300, all this stuff, this would be great. If they really crush this market, get up into here, you're going to spend your life just watching this get shaved off. Yeah. T-Mobs came to see us in the conference in Chicago. And where were we? No, you can get long. No, I want to be very clear about that. You can trade this long. In the course, I'm very specific. All right. You can trade VXX and UVXY long, so long as there is full time frame continuity the downside in the S&P, and if the VIX options are in backwardation. Yes, you can trade them long. Then you can stop as if doing it all day. Yes, you can. That's the only conditions, though, because otherwise it's just going to erode on you. If you're trying to trade it off of 60 when everything else is red, as soon as that thing changes, it's going to get destroyed. The decay just whops them. Small cappers, sure. Yeah, one last week. So here's small cappers. We go to the monthly. You haven't been with me long, but were we all over this try? You bet we were. Hammer off the bottom. Oh, the try. There's your 3. Walk her up. Now, the question is, how bad does this get? Right? So here, the higher high and the 1, 2, 3. It's a 2-2 monther. Taking these guys out, there's your upper level try right here. Right? So once you take that out, then you got all this to go after. Or this is the upper level try and come back up into that, which is going to look like this. Here. Triangle the out. Here's this stuff. Out here, 2. Higher high, lower low. Boom, boom. Up here. Triangle becomes support. Then comes up here. Now you come all the way back down and take these guys out. Which looks like so. Right? That's why I say the biggest moves often come back through previous ranges. Now the question is going to be weak enough to come through all this stuff. Well, we are 2-2 monther, right? And we got a lot of month left. Now if we go back to the daily, didn't get hammered as hard as the other ones, but it's thinking about it. Here's the choppy tight triangle in here. This thing too. They thought they were home free until they ripped through all these guys. 2-2. Didn't take that out as yet. All right, and then the lows here would be 144.50, 144.24, I'm sorry, 147, 144.24. That's 50. So we are indeed like this here. Do a bigger try like that. Now can we go triangle expando and get destroyed out of here? That's why you're here. All right? That's okay. That's why you're here. We get you the course and everything up to speed, videos, and that's why I'm here. Once you get, yeah, cool. Once you get a rudimentary understanding of the stuff, then you're going to see it play out all day long, every day on everything, all the time. Which I believe new people will back me up on that. Anybody who was their first day, you saw a whole lot of stuff going down, a whole lot of stuff. And the beautiful thing about it, even though it's a lot of information, it's all the same. It's very simple once you understand it. Then it's a matter of putting that research to work and focusing on what you're going to focus on. Every day the fog clears a little more, right? So, see when that does this? Watch this. Yes, and not reverting to anything else. Go back to your old strategies. Well, it's oversold. No. If you make a mistake, you're going to get hurt. All right? Don't do that. What's my indicator? So, Lawrence, did you hear me last night, or how are you here? Because I want you to understand this as soon as possible. That's why I do this. Because I like to tell people okay, good. I'm a very generous man because after discovering this, if I wanted your money, it would be mine by now. What I want to do is help as many people as I possibly can with this. All right, I could easily work a lot less, but I don't. So last night, you got a rudimentary understanding of the scenarios. So if you want to pick up on that, last night I discussed going to my YouTube, Smiths in the Black, all one word, the greatest story ever sold. And that'll tell you why you're not going to watch indicators and why you want to watch the scenarios, right? How they work. And from the original stuff that this came from was some very basic universal truths. All right, so never hurts to go through them now, does it? Time frame continuity is always going to be important to us, right? And what that means is we can identify 4 separate participation groups by price and time. The monthly group, are they sellers? They are, so long as it's red. Are they here this week? You bet they are. And the weekly sellers are there too. Are they here today? Yep, they're selling today. Are they here right now? Anytime that 60's red, they're here right now. Everyone we know is a seller. The coaching stuff, good. So that, then the scenario ones, when I say inside, and this is important for new people too, communication. When I say on the 15 or on the 30, right, that's a 15 or 30 minute chart, and that usually means I'm talking about that it's inside, unless I'm saying something else. So Twitter does this. So Twitter spent a good time here reverting into a 1 because it couldn't get out of this, right? And so here's when it made its move. See this? 1 1 1, but the internal 3 took out both sides, right? Oh no, it didn't. It was still lower low. Shooter. So here's what it did here, right here. Inside 1 2, and then they gave the 2. The 1 2 2 right here. Little tricky, but because it was reverting all into this stuff. So the good part was if you had the opening 30 down and then never touched it, just left your stop up in the air. If you were watching the Fiver, probably getting chopped up. If you're watching the Fiver, you're probably getting chopped up because you weren't realizing it was still multiple 60. And that's what I talk about when I say you're gonna get killed when something's still inside on a multiple time frame. This is what I'm talking about. It's going down, it's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. All right. And so this is what I was talking about too, is that you want to try and catch it off up here as opposed to try straight into the lows and saying I want to take the 60 down straight in. I don't. I want to come it off slight highs like here. If you want to draw the triangles, you start with the monthly, then weekly, then daily. Yeah, exactly. We want to start on the bigger time frames first because that gives us an idea where we want to be. What can we really expect out of this? Because for newer folks, most guys have no idea how to gauge magnitude. None. None. Right? They'll just make up a risk-reward number and hope it hits. Right? Or they'll use some rudimentary measured move. We do. Right? Well, SPY has been in triangle expansion for years. So here, want to see what happens if they really kill him? Oh boy! Come back down to 150 and test the old macro try. No, yeah. So we also triangled them out in here. So we've been in expando mode for a while, right? And so these were actually higher than this. This was actually like this, right? Lower low, higher high, lower low comes up right to there. Triangle day out, goes 3 on the month, gets out of here, and then goes up. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Momo hammer 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Uh-oh. Bam. And now we're 2 back down, and we got all these guys to go after. So if you think that this sell-off is overdone, you'd be sorely mistaken. Oh, by the way, if you want to know if we saw this or not, if I would have developed a little earlier. I first developed the Strat here, 2010, right in here. This is when I was working on it, 2010. If you'd like to see I wrote the In the Black newsletter, right? And I had not developed the Strat as yet, but I had seen the triangles right in here. The In the Black newsletter, because of the triangles in the VIX and the VXX and the Dow Jones, May 3rd, 2010, I wrote an article about how catastrophic these triangles could possibly be. 3 days later was the flash crash. If you'd like to see that, I'll send it to you. And that was before that was when I had only rudimentary understanding of all this stuff, because it was brand new. Because I had to do what you're doing, reprogram my brain from all these bullshit books that say broadening formations are rare. I'm like, are they? They're actually so ubiquitous that it's a miracle that people don't see them, except that every book in the world says don't look for them. Because right now, what we're fortunate of is to know about time frame continuity and the 2-2, because that's what's going on here. The 2-2 month of death. Of death. I don't know how to do that, but what you can do is email. Let's go to, let me see. Mike Camo. Let's see, Michael is, I think he's just Michael at T3 Live. Oops. Sorry, spazzing here. Long days. There you go. Email him. Okay. Too farty? Yeah, well, the thing is we got to see what does it look like when it gets there, too. What's going on? Right? Because Which you'll hear guys also say, I'm like, if this thing gets through 100, I'm going to buy it. I'm like, what if it gaps down to 80 first and then rallies $20? You going to buy it if it breaks 100? So there's what conditions are things in when they get to certain prices. Know what I mean? Because another thing too, don't be afraid to get stopped out and get stopped back in, and get back in on some of this stuff, right? So some people give up on the battle. When we know we want in, battle, battle, battle. Because like today, if you were getting stopped out in SPY or whatever you're doing, you saw by the end of the day you wanted to be in on that thing, right? And we knew that. Even at the end of the day, if you had to say screw it, give me the 1 minute, give me the 1 minute triangle they out. And so if you want to know if you're coming off a triangle, counter color, then counter two back the other way. We know this thing's going down in general. So in the 1 minute, counter one, triangle they out, goes up, comes back in, two potential three, bam. Got him good in here too. Made sure these guys are gone. I want to be short, do you? Right? And so when you see something like this, another thing you can do, as soon as that thing closes out and goes red, you can hit that too. Stop it against that. Inside, look at this. Finish off the day. Inside three down, inside three, Momo shooter down. Look at this move. In the last 3 minutes, it took out a three down, 259.05. 15 handles. Yes, if that's what you want to get, yeah. Tell him what you want. And I'm sure he'll take care of you. If he doesn't, come back to me. I'll say, what's up? I'll speak on your behalf. I just have to get my beauty sleep for tomorrow. But if there's any problems, oh yeah, my pleasure. You come to me. I said I'm here to help everybody best I can. Home study program, yeah, and the videos, which is the videos you want to get through. The videos is good. The home study program's a little old, so I would watch those videos mostly. 12 videos, watch those. And then when you watch during the day, the good thing is this plays out so often, you're going to see it in your sleep. Trust me, everybody who's been with me, you're going to see all this stuff in your sleep. And you're not going to have any more friends except for us, because you can't talk to anybody because it's going to sound so stupid, right? It's like, right? So once you start talking about the market, you're in. And then you're going to have to teach your spouse if you have one, because you won't be able to talk to her either. Because all we do is talk about this stuff. Okay. Robin, I'll put that in for you right now. Okay. For years, all right? Greatest story going on almost 1,400 views. Yar. Oh, we had one down. Oh, we had a thumbs down. We must have a technician in the house. Poor soul. Exxon? Sure. What do we know to be true about Exxon? Exxon goes 2-2 monther. Right? Right there. Under 83.66. Right? Chop them up, triangle them out, go back to the highs. Now come to triangle these guys out. All of this. Ow. Tight business in here, right? Tight business in here, chopping them up, triangle the out, triangle the out, triangle the out, that's it. No one will ever buy Epsilon again. Triangle the out, come up, take these guys out, back and fill, slight lower low, triangle them out, all the way back up. Okay, now it's smooth sailing. We're going to the highs. Want to bet? Now, outside weak, that's a 3. 3-2 down and puke and take them all out. Now we're coming to see these boys. Yay, good. Oh, no, Chevron Butte. Chevron. Inside weak and down with the monthly shooter. Puke, the 2-2 shooter. Oh, yeah. See ya. And then the inside day right here. El Puco Mucho. Going to come back and see all these guys. See how much work these guys had to do to make any money? And just when they come back through the try, oh yeah. Lawrence, okay, so the execution, basically depending on how, and you check with me during the day, right? Basically, we want these things to just go. If we have more if we have more evidence that things are going to go, like full time frame continuity, all that kind of stuff, you can loosen the stop up a bit. I don't have a problem with that because we know eventually where it's going, right? Ideally, we would want a real tight stop because we're expecting it to go. We're triggering guys. We're punching them in the face, right? When I punch a guy, I expect them to go down. And so here's why Chevron was blaring at us like Apple. Why? Because look at this. This helps having me around, right? Because when you see the SPY do this in January, who's in trouble come February? I'll tell you who's in trouble. Guys who are down or flat for January. Oh, I think it's going to catch up. You better hope that market doesn't drop. This thing's going to get killed, right? And that's why you're hearing me during the day when the market's rallying. I'm looking for guys going towards the lows because we already know who's rallying, right? Because we're always looking to trade against people in losing positions. Time frame continuity helps with that. And that's why when you have, like, today we didn't have a gap, which was great, which means we just knew full time frame continuity downside, we could bury them. But when you have big gaps, let's say that we gap down huge tomorrow, the first thing we're going to be looking for is anybody who can take out today's highs. Because we know those guys are screwed. They got what they wanted. The market's down 1,000 points, right? And it gaps down. And you're going to take out the highs, I got to cover. If I don't, it's just going to get worse, which we hope for you. Because we're going to stick it to them. Trip, right. Trippy, market puking. Trip going straight up. These guys are like, what the hell? And we help stick it to them. Yeah, it was. If we would have gotten it earlier today, the vert, the vert was sticking it to him hard. The inside day and up. And see, when you know this stuff, the charts become hilarious. Can you just hear the keyboard smashing? What's it doing? Market's down 1,000. You must have gotten killed. Yeah, not the way you'd think I did, though. You got killed shorting? How bad is he? I don't know. All right? All this stuff will become hilarious. And so we want to bang them as soon as something, Lawrence, is a good rule of thumb. Something goes 2, you're in. All right? 3, 2, 1, 2. As soon as something goes 2, that's an entry. Then you can get to, as soon as something goes 2, 2, 3, 2 into a 3, potential try, you can hit that too. All right? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First things first, I just want you to understand it and see it. Yeah. Because I'll explain it all day long. And the more that you see it, it's going to become second nature. That's all you're going to see. And that's why it's important to have a monthly, weekly, daily, 60, 30, 15, 5 that are all linked together. So whenever you look at anything, you go bam, and you see all those charts are the same thing. That'll immediately tell you what's going on. Right? I want you to be able to understand that like that. Right? I'm not going to touch that. It's in conflict. That's good. That's 3, 2, and that's 1, and that's about to go 2. I'm going to take that. Right? All right, Ice. Q, Q, Q. I used to like this question. People are like, where's the bottom? And I was like, why do you ask me where the bottom is when we're at the top? Q. QQQ. So QQQ is 2-2. So here's one of the things that you really want to know about, right? When you have these grindy markets, you can rip through all these things real hard. So if we go back to the monthly, going way back, the Wayback Machine here, you'll see this. 129er, right? That would take care of all these guys. You also had the outside month here. That's another fractal try, so you'd want to stay above that. 145.96. You start ripping through that, you got real problems. Yeah, cheapo option day. Cheapo option day. Yeah, some 1,000%er Boeingers, Ripper pukers. But we'll see. They did a lot of damage today. So the good thing is now a quiet day could still be 300. All right, good night, Robin. Now a quiet day could still be 300, 350 points in the Dow. This is what we've been waiting for because we know what to do. That's right. You don't need it. And for newer folks, I've been telling my people for a long time. I was like, train yourself at VIX at 9. If you can make money with VIX at 9, which we did, you're going to kill it when they really start moving. Yeah. By the way, that's the Inside 60 Gorilla. You can trade all night long, too. Trade the futures, trade the Forex, trade the Bitcoins, all you want. Crypto night, it's like it all trades the same. But for newer people, I did type in my email. I want you to introduce yourself a little bit. That always helps. You don't never sleep. And I think we're at a good time here. Because I don't want to make these too long so you don't have to go through 4 hours of the night session. Because as you get it and everybody's on board, we can have real bull sessions here as long as we want. Right? I used to do these for 3 or 4 hours because I didn't have a course to teach you in 3 or 4 hours. But don't worry about getting it right away. Right? Just continue to see it. Continue to see things only this way. Because there is no other truths. This is the truth, right? It's not possible to trade outside of this stuff. Stay in contact with me. Try and focus a narrow group, right? My email is this: Robert Smith in the Black. And never feel like I'm too busy to talk to you during the day. Don't worry about cramming up the chat with questions. Don't worry about that. Let me worry about that. I got to know what you're doing. I got to know what you're thinking. Right? NVIDIA, it's gapping up. Right? Or at least it was. Here's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is probably still gapping up still inside month. Chop shop. Could that come in? Sure could. Daily, down. If it goes here, kicking pattern to the upside, then we'll talk. If it takes out 235.22, we'll talk. AMD monthly, so AMD. So AMD monthly. Chop shop. Look at this. It's a nightmare. All right? It's red on the month. But look at this. Getting murdered in here. But it is red on the month. On the weekly, triangle day out. Right? It goes down here. 2, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2 reversal. Triangle them out. You're in the middle of this stuff. This thing's a nightmare. You are red on the month and the week. It did take out the shooter like everything else. Didn't take these guys out. Does it take them out with full time frame continuity to the downside? Maybe. It's not moving very much. Oh, 2-2 reversal? Very simple. Because here this goes 1 2. 2 2 reversals. Here's SPY. A 2 2 reversal means the previous bar took out the previous side of one side of the range. So this thing took out this side of the range, this one. Then, when the next two breaks back in that same direction, the opposite direction, excuse me, that's your 2 2 reversal. Right? This is an attempted breakout because 2 defines trend, but you reverse that right here. That's where you're sticking it to them. And that's where people are like, how much more can it go down? After it's down 600. That's probably it. I'm like, you want to bet? That's the opening act. Once we took that out, that's when the real steam hit. You got it, man. June it is. And don't have a picture on this side of the computer if you haven't seen the big rig. That makes sense, Leah. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Cool, cool, cool. And Aaliyah, did you make sense on the 2 2? But definitely watch that video that I posted because I talk about it there. And during the day, like I said, the examples are going to be so many during the day. Right here. As soon as it goes as soon as it goes 2 to the upside, then 2 back the other way from the direction of the original 2. As soon as it takes that out, this low, that's 2, and then it goes 2 as soon as it takes this out, 267.40. Yon 100 handles. 3 2, Exxon, weekly. It goes 2 2 on the month here. 2 2 reversal, and then on the weekly it's 3 2, the outside 3, and then 2 breaks it out here, the 3 2 below that. There's your 3 2, the outside, and then break outside of the outside of death. Of death. Okay. Make sense? Which one has more power? Either or. We do like the triangle expando, but as you can see, the 2 2 sticks it to him as well. But this is a triangle expansion, and so we're looking for this triangle to, is also where it occurs in something too. So usually we're going to use how many pivots do we have to go after. So when it came through here, we're looking at all this stuff, right? Coming back through ranges. So it's more of a matter of coming back through a previous range is usually what we're looking for more power than, because we don't know if we go into new highs or new lows, we don't know what's there. So when people say, oh, if it gets through here, it's clear blue skies. No, that's a minefield. You have no idea what's up there, right? We want to use all these pivot suckers to take out, go pivot munching. You know those guys who try and buy against horizontal lines? You know them guys who go like this? Oh, there's support. You could buy it against support. Oh, this is support. Is it? You really think there's a bunch of buy signals sitting there? You're out of your mind. Hulk smash! Bam! Stops. It's so wrong. But the good thing about getting an email to me is also like what system are you running, all this kind of stuff, and I can, you know. And as you see, we've got a very helpful gang here. Because another thing that's good is, like I said last night, even if the whole world knows it, still got to work. And I'm not piling everybody into one stock and be like, oh, our chat room's all long the same thing. No, no. We're all doing a bunch of different things. There's certain things that, yeah, a good portion of us want to get involved when they're going, but everybody's doing their own thing, whatever suits them. And as I've said, you can branch out and do this. You can be as maniacal as you want with this because it's working on so many things that it's just, whatever you can handle. So for the new folks, get all the material. When you have the chance, start going through the video course. The video course is very good. I think it was a year ago that I made it, and I was sleeping in the office for a month to do it. But it's very helpful to get you up to speed. My YouTube has a ton of stuff. The coaching sessions are here. My YouTube has a ton of things. If you go to night sessions, the original ones, Brexit was really good for us, all that kind of stuff. And the Brexit one was especially good because it tells you how to, how we played the Brexit because of using all the relationships of where exactly we wanted to be and when and why. Do you have the videos? Did get from email Michael, the one that I put in there? If you haven't gotten a bunch of material and go, I want it now. Give me Strat vids. Okay, good, good. All right. Like I said, you were asking questions. I get hopefully, what's very important is when I say something to you, I want you to acknowledge it. I want you to acknowledge that in the chat, and don't just nod and smile and say, "Okay, I think I got it." Say, "I don't get it," or "I'm a little fuzzy. Can you give me something else?" I want to really make sure that you get it. All right, and then go pull up any chart. So another thing you can do is you have a regular group that you're already looking at, that you're already trading. Just go look at it. You go look at the multiple time frames. And what do you see? Is it a 1, is it a 2, or is it a 3? All right? You'll see it. And then what you're going to want to be able to do is look down the road. And that's why the flip is important because a new bar is about to come. You ever see on the weekends and guys on Twitter, here's my best idea for the new week. I'm like, really? You're about to have a new bar on the week and the day and the 60. And you're going to tell me where this thing's going? You're out of your mind. Right? We might have a pretty good idea from the monthlies and the setups, but you don't tell them, they tell you. Right? That's really stupid. You pick of the week over the weekend. I remember when they were doing it here and told our former CEO that we loved that. And they're like, "Really, you do?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," especially when it doesn't work. You just told everybody. You just told us where 300-400 stops are. Thank you. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, just did. Because it lines up with time frame continuity, what's going in their face, right? There we go. Got my desk in there and everything. So on that note, anything else I can do tonight? A 1? 1 very simple inside bar. Couldn't take out either side of the range. Like say here. Oop, that kind of did. Something that cannot take out either side of the range. So inside day today, gold. Gold! Inside day, couldn't take out either side of the previous range. That's a 1. And so you want to know if something's a 1 on the month or the week or the day, you're going to get killed in there. All right? Yeah, in the videos, yeah. Expectation, we never have expectations. Right? What do we know to be true? We know that the week is about to exhaust, right? We know that most things are going to have heavy duty time frame continuity to the downside. We also know that 2 of the 4 major time frames start over again tomorrow, right? So the 60 and the day are going to dictate. Now, if we can find things that go 60 daily and stay red, that's something we want to know about, right? We also want to take a look at what type of gap we got. And if we can find stuff a la trip that has full time frame continuity to the upside to stick it to them, right? We also know we got earnings, NVIDIA, Expedia getting pummeled, stuff like that. So first things first, we're going to look at the gaps. Oh, you got to click on the camera icon. Then you can pull up the chart and see all the fun. The big old gold inside day, which also happens to be sitting on top of try. Like so, try becomes support, which is, as of right now, a higher level try. See this? Higher, higher, higher of the original try. For newer folks, the reason this phenomenon occurs as opposed to horizontal lines is everybody's getting screwed. They're waiting to try and get their money back, and as time goes by, it continues to drift further apart, further away from them. If you've ever been in a losing position and you didn't cover it, you might know this one. It comes back to almost to where you get your money back and you don't cover, thinking, I'm just going to wait for it to go a penny my way so it's a winner, and then it flies away from you again. You're like, oh man, I should have covered. And then it comes back down a little bit, not as close as it did before, and you still don't cover. Because you're thinking maybe this time it'll be the time that it does come down and get positive, and then it drifts away from you again, and then finally you throw in the towel and cover it at the worst possible time. Yeah, that's what's happening. The best time to take an actionable signal? No, not around the flip. We want to. Yeah, around the flip would be good because ideally, if it's a 60, that gives us 60 minutes to work with that, right? Because that signal will be good on for 60, right? So, so Aaliyah, it's like, so the thing is, be it daily or intraday, just see the same thing. You're going to see this, and so here, SPY, 60. Let me see, one of my faves. One of my faves was this one, inside 60. And so when the SPY goes inside 60, or the Qs, or the diamonds, or small cappers, you're going to hear this. That means, chow's on. We got an equilibrium in the futures, all right? That means if you're doing something else and you got me on the headset and you hear that, it's time to eat. And so, Max, yeah, we prefer on the flip, as close to the flip as possible. You can be top of the hour. It's a matter of how much is what's going on and everything, right? Time to go straight cruising, right? But you definitely, as far as take the actionable signal as soon as, first of all, as soon as it goes actionable, right? Don't need to be tardy to the party. Get in there. We're always throwing the first punch. Want to find out how tough they are. Because sometimes they ain't very tough. Like today. So here, just following the old SPY puker. 2 down. So is it turnaround Tuesday? No, you didn't take out the highs. Goes inside. Ready? 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. Multiple bar pattern where you're going to get chopped up. Goes 1, 2, reverts to a 1, 2, reverts to a 1, 2, reverts to a 1. Then here, when you take this 2, blast it out and get out of here. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3. Triangle day out. Never touching the SPY again. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 reversal. Attempt. Failed. 2 continuation. Puke. Yes, if you have full time, you want to be aware, Max, if you're going into higher highs or lower lows, right? Then you're at exhaustion risk. But yeah, you're good to go. Stocks in play, that's a T3 thing. That's not a Rob thing. But yeah, that'll change tomorrow. Because that tells us things are moving around. You can take a look at them. You're just going to look at them our way. On how much screen space? Yeah, like that's why I said to email me so I can start to understand, what your setups are and all that kind of stuff. Technical, your physical stuff. What reverts to a 1? Okay, what I mean by reverts to a 1 is that this bar goes 1 Anytime you have a 1, right? Anytime you have a 1, that will go 2. If once that 2 exhausts and closes out and does not take out the bar that caused this to go 1, it reverts back into a 1, a 2-bar 1, because it's not strong enough to get out of here. It's still consolidating. You get murdered in here, right? So it goes 1, 2, reverts to a 1. 2, reverts to a 1 here, here. Goes 2 down, is still a 1 because it's still in this stuff. 4-hour 1. And then boom, takes the 2 and gets out of here. And it doesn't mean you can't take this. You can take this to the upside when they're chopping them up. You just have to defend like hell, 1 penny. But if you're right, this was a huge move. A sideways 1, yes. And fake pattern, what do you mean? By fake. Head and shoulders, cups and handles. Yeah. Lower Lawrence, you're going to love this stuff. Once you see it, you're going to realize when you get chopped up and when you're not. And when to stick it to them. That's potential rev strat, right? And that's why we can expect that when you're still inside on something or when you go into conflict. You can expect to get rev stratted, and that's why you can use that fake, that break, right? Like the Spy 5 was a gorgeous one. The Spy 5 or rev strat was beautiful today, right? Here, this one right here. Goes inside 5, comes up in here, but it has full time frame counting to the downside. 1, 2, 2, peak. 5 minutes, that was nice, 10, 20 handles or whatever. Yeah, right. So yes, we expect that, and that's why we look for those counter 60s to go green against all the red, but then we're very aware of that flip. As soon as that thing flips back into 60 red, all over it. So if even go back to the 60, we were looking for this thing after it went green. Here to tick back. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice try. 2, 2. Peak. Didn't peak as fast as we would like. So be it. So that's why, Al, that's why you're going to have, that's why we have all the multiple time frames. We know which ones we can expect to work and which ones aren't going to work. Which ones we wouldn't take. Now, the good thing about this is even on that 5 minute, because things are so volatile, you still could have made some good money on this. That was a nice move. 2 weeks ago, that would have been all day, right? Or all week, right? That was a pretty nice move for 5 minutes, and then you could just defend it, get out, and then use the money to hit these guys, play with their money. Because all of this is designed to put you in a winning position, right? I want to be very clear about this. These setups are designed to immediately put you into a winning position. That's why we get out right away. Then we want to look down the road because we want to add to our positions and get as big as we possibly can, so long as it's going our way, right? As opposed to other guys who might sit there and pyramid in and get destroyed, right? If you pyramid it in, eventually you own GE, right? No, wrong idea, right? Does reverse to a 1 apply to all time frames? Yes. Yes, and that's what we'll tell you. Like in a week, there are things that we wouldn't touch for months. OIH has been as a 9-year one on the yearly, right? Now because it's a yearly thing, there's a lot of moves in there, but it's a 9-year one reversion. So that's stuff you want to know about. Target was inside for a long time. Or McKesson. Here, look at McKesson here. Monthly. Look at this. Everything in here. You're going to get murdered in here. Look at this. This is 6-8 months. Right? Right? You get murdered, slaughtered in there. Right? And that's one of the things you'll hear me say when you pick up on my vernacular. I'm like, what do you think of that one, Rob? I'm like, inside day. See you tomorrow. Right? Today? No. Tomorrow? Yes. Let them chew each other up. And they form the equilibrium. Then we'll see if we can break it. Make sense? Because I said this last night too, one of the great things about trading equities, we have so much information on who to go after, right? There's a whole bunch of casinos. Like we just go to the hot table. That's the great thing about this. Dice are hot over there. Let's go. I bet on Vert. Right, that's right. We can. It's like we don't have to. We don't. If we just bet on the team that's already winning, it's up 70-0. I bet on them, right? Whereas a lot of people are programmed to try and like, I have to get it right when it first breaks out, and I have to get it. No, you don't. If it's really going to go, it's going to keep going, right? Anything that's worth going after is going to keep going. Otherwise, you're just going to make some, lose some, make some, lose some, right? We're always playing for the big one because they're out there all the time. They're out there all the time. And knowing the difference between something that you can add to, and by that I mean, if this works, what will it create? Will it create a 3? Will it take out a 1? Another 1? What will it do? Because if it doesn't, then when time exhausts, you just cut the rope. It's out. Now I don't know. It's still 1. I'm out. Right? Actionable signal right away? Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Not necessarily. The actionable signal that you're trading off of, yes, but you don't have to catch a monthly or a weekly break on the monthly or weekly break. You don't have to catch that. Those go in force, and what that means is you got the rest of the month and the rest of the week to look for shorter term time frames to reconfirm that. So I want to be very clear about that. You didn't miss the monthly break. You didn't miss the weekly break. Right? In TES, you got all month to go after an inside month and down puker. That's one. The old 1-2, you got the rest of the month. Anytime that thing has full time frame counting to the downside, that's something you're going to want to know about. Where does the range consist of? Tail to tail or open to close of the candle? Tail to tail, the whole body, the whole thing. Yeah. Because when people say don't worry about that, it actually did trade there. Right? So when people say that's irrelevant, not if you had a stop there, it isn't. It actually did trade there. So the whole range, the whole bar of the range of the bar. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. No, Max, he's the longer term time frame. So once the 60 breaks, you can look for reconfirmation on a 30, 15, 5, 3, 1. If a 15 breaks, you can look for a setup on the 5, 3, 1. Anything shorter, you can still look for reconfirmation. You just have to know how much time you have on that. Do you have anything additional that's in force on the longer term to help it out? That kind of stuff. And that's why when the 60s are forming, when we know 60s are coming, you can look at the guts of that thing and see what's in the guts of this thing, right? Of this 60. What's it really doing? Is it going Rev Strat 30 to trigger the 60? That's something I'd want to know about because I can take that Rev Strat 30 expecting it to take the 60 out before the 60 actually breaks. And that's how we use the little guys to trigger the big guys. If I Rev Strat this punk, he's going to hit those guys that are going to hit those guys who are really not going to be happy when those guys get triggered, right? And that's when we do that stuff, that's when you hear people in other chat rooms typing, "What's the news? What's the news?" The news is those guys triggered those guys, and everyone was a seller to begin with, All right, that's the news. Another thing that I will say that's helpful too is as you go along, get to know all your friends here because when you see certain people post, get to know what they do. Right? There's certain people that do certain things and are very good at it. And so if they type in there and you know what they do, you know exactly what they're thinking and why they posted it. Because you could pull up the strat and you'll be like, I know exactly what he means. Look at that 60 coming that's going to take all this stuff out, right? Jim, Brian, and stop to break even. Depends on how much information we have, right? As soon as possible, right? But if you have full time frame continuity and you got a bunch of, actual signals in force and we have triangle magnitude stuff like that, you can leave it there. But initially, it should just go, and then you can move it up. Especially now that we've got volatility, because when it works, it should just go, depending on what you're looking at. A lot of people have been stratting for a long time, so. And so, Max, what you can do is also check with me. Like I was saying before, check with me. What do we know to be true? Because you'll hear me during the day say, you got this much time on that, you got this much time on that. Your level of defense is now this, right? And why? Check with me. Omaha. And if you guys do email me, if I don't get back to the weekend, that's because on Friday I try and get the weekend video out as soon as possible, so everybody has enough time for the research, and then I get through the emails and the texts and the phone calls and the mail and the stopping by and all the things I got to do to make sure you get it. After it makes a decent move, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can defend yourself, and like I'll show you that because one of the things you want it to realize is what our objective is. And so, if the rev strat is all within 4 cents of each other, that's our objective. And once it goes that, it can come right back in. And so I'll help you with that. But I got to know what you're doing because I can show it to you once I know what you're looking at. Show what the objective is and whether you're still good or not. Or whether if you get stopped out, you should get back in. Yeah, ideally we would like what measured moves. Yeah, the old 2-1-2 measured mover. Because one of the things that people have, and Brian I think was pointing this out before too, is understanding where you're executing as far as known triangles. Right? If you take every inside bar and you're always going, people will have this problem. They're always trading momentum, which means it's going into the highs or going straight into the lows. Always, right? That's a problem. You want to use the triangles, right? Because that gives all the pivots. So when I say objective, if it goes inside and then drops through a bunch of stuff, right? That's good. That's going to buy all that room. But if you're always going into new highs or always going into new lows, it has to go and it can't come in, period. Right. How can you expect the target that you're in? We're going to look at all those pivots. It's going to be a matter of price and time, right? What do we know to be true about who are we taking out, right? As far as the monthly still in force, the weekly doing this, and the daily. So, and then how much time do we have on that? Are there always triangles? Yes. Or they're going expansion into new highs or new lows, where we know eventually there will be one. And even on the on the oneer, you'll see it. But in like a strong momentum move or straight up, 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 it'll appear it's not there. Eventually, they'll triangle them out because there'll be an outside bar. Trust me. Or there'll be a lower low and a higher high. Has to be. And that's why what we're doing is I'm putting you in the stocks that are potentially ain't coming back. Ain't coming back, right? Because as you can see, when I started my research 28 years ago, the first thing I wanted to find, the holy grail that I've been looking at for was if if the Dow dropping 6% is like front page news, stocks do that every day. Every single day. If you look at the percentage gainer list or loser list and the dollar gainer list and loser list, that happens every day. I was like, why don't we find that? Right? Why don't we just do that? If I'm right once a year, I beat the market, right? Or twice a year, I beat the market and scratch everything else. That's what it was all about. Now I know how to do that with the ones that are going. If you're going to be up 20%, you got to be up 10% first, right? Got how to draw the triangles? Don't worry about that. Just know that a 3 is one, and then you can revert to a shorter term time frame and draw it off that. Also, when you watch my videos, I'll draw them, copy them, practice, and just be more cognizant of the strategy itself, the scenarios and the strategy itself, right? Because what you will see is if this triggers, is there anything that we're going after? Are we coming back to a previous range? Then we know we've got a triangle. Because once you get this, we're going to change your last name to Power. Okay. Right? Just see it. Just see the reality of this. It's impossible to not be a 1, 2, or 3. Line up all the time frames and what do you see? And how much time do we have on them? Okay. Yeah, so annoying. Anyway, everybody good for now? As you can see, I stay here to make sure you're getting it. Okay, so get those vids. Watch that vid. Email who you got to email. Be it me, be it Michael, whoever you got to do. We'll see you bright here early in the morning. And email me, I'll answer, and all that kind of stuff. So welcome to the new folks, right? And yeah, we're gonna get you where you need to be, and you're in the right place. All right, everybody, have a good night. We'll see you bright and early.